What is equity? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, welcome. I'm Alexis. I go by Lexis Shantell on YouTube. Basically, I make videos here on YouTube talking about my home buying process as a young homeowner, as well as just my decorating journey for my house. But today's video, I will be covering what is home equity. So I feel like equity is something that comes up a lot when you are talking about buying a house or just home ownership as a whole. I feel like that's something that's always thrown out, but it's like, what exactly is that? And I think that's what I was kind of thinking when I was in the home buying process. Like, okay, equity, yeah, this sounds great. Like, I'm gonna have equity. And then I was just like, but what is that? Like, what actually is that and what do I do with it? So basically, I just want to kind of share the research that I've, I guess, came across and the knowledge that I've learned, and just kind of relay that information to you guys that frequently watch my videos. Someone specifically requested that I make this video, so shout out to you. If you guys do have any requests or questions or ideas for videos, whether it be informational, decor ideas, or really anything even outside of the home series, drop in the comments below and I'll probably do it. So first, what is equity? The way that I look at it is super simple, kind of just in an equation form. So your house's value minus what you owe on your loan equals how much equity you have in the house. Basically what you actually own and possess in your home's value. Okay, to kind of put that calculation in some numbers. So say that you find a house that is $200,000, you put down $5,000. So your lender loans you a loan amount of $195,000 to cover the rest of the house. So your equity in the house is that $200,000 minus the $195,000 that you have left on your loan that you owe equals that $5,000 that you own, basically what you had put down. That is your equity in the house. So there's two ways, obviously with the equation this kind of makes sense, but there's two ways that I'm aware of that you can increase your equity or build your equity, is either by increasing the value of your house or by decreasing the amount that you owe on your loan. So starting off with that first part, increasing the value of your home. It is one of my goals to flip a house and like flip houses and renovate houses, but for my personal opinion, I did not want to buy a house that I had to put a lot of work on. Although yes, it might have been cheaper. For my comfort and my lifestyle right now, that's just not something that I wanted to do. And one point that I made in the past was that is not money that you immediately get back, which I still feel like it's not money that you immediately get back. However, putting money into those home projects and renovating does in fact increase the value of your home and will thus increase your equity. But that is one way. So trying to find different ways to increase the value of your house to increase that initial number to build your equity. So either, like I said, some of those home projects, renovating. So if you did buy a $100,000 house but the kitchen was really bad, you can do a renovated kitchen for like $20,000. Doing that renovation is most likely going to increase the value of your house, and later on the market might be better, so you might have gained $50,000 extra on your house's value, if that makes sense. I know for my particular situation, like I said, I have a new construction townhouse, so a lot of the houses weren't built around me yet, but now that they're building up, I'm going looking on the real estate sites to see how much they're listed for, because that is going to increase the value of my house, I would assume, because later on when I want to resell, they're like, oh, that house down the block, or literally 2 houses down, is worth X amount, so this house appraised value must be worth that amount or something close, if that makes sense, you know? So I've been looking at what these houses are worth around mine that they've recently listed, and I'm like, okay, because I've already increased the value of my house. One, I bought the house for less than it was listed for, just slightly less than it was listed for, and then when I got it appraised, the amount that I had bought it for was still less than the amount that it was appraised for initially. So I know that the value of my house is going to increase with time anyway. So the second way that I am aware of increasing your equity would be to continuing to focus on paying down your mortgage. So that second portion of the equation. For my personal situation, my mortgage has my principal and my interest combined right now, but a way for you to kind of increase your equity faster, you could make additional payments on top of that to help pay down that principal amount, because that principal amount is that actual loan amount. I have read up on different things that say even making as small as like $100 more each month to go specifically towards your principal can long-term benefit you as far as decreasing that amount at a quicker rate so that you have more equity faster. Or you could even do a larger lump sum payment towards like the end of the year to help bring that down. But yeah, those are just some ways that you could try to increase your equity, whether it is helping to increase the value of your house or by just paying down your loan amount quicker. Now, using your equity, because I think this was one of the main things I was like, okay, like you have equity, but what is it for? How can you actually use it? What do you do with it? I think one of the main things that I was most interested in knowing about was how to use the equity in order to buy a new home. Because like I always say, this is, I feel like, my starter home. I'm not going to stay in this house for the rest of my life. So how do I make sure that I have enough equity, and how do I use that towards my next home? So again, from my understanding and my research, so do your own research too, but this is my understanding of how you can use equity in order to purchase a new home. Using numbers, just a random scenario again. So say I have a $200,000 house. I put down 10% to make it easy. I put down 10%, so it's $20,000. So my lender only had to loan me $180,000, so I have $20,000 in equity. So 5 years have passed. I decide I want to sell my house because, you know, I'm moving to a new city for my job or something. Say within that 5-year period, I paid another $20,000 onto the house. Again, I'm just throwing out numbers. So now I've paid a total of $40,000 toward the principal of my house. So that $200,000 minus what I owe left on the house, which is now $160,000, leaves me with $40,000 in equity. But on top of that, my house's value went up after that 5 years. So 5 years later, my appraised value of my house went up by another $10,000. Let's just say that. So now my house's value is worth $210,000, but my loan amount doesn't go up just because my house's value went up. So my loan amount is still just that $160,000. So that leaves me now with, instead of $40,000 of equity, I now have $50,000 of equity. So say if I want to go and sell my house, you're not going to get all of that $50,000 because you have other fees for the agent and things like that when you want to sell. Say I actually gained $40,000 of equity after I paid out my fees and everything from that $50,000 equity gained, or I can put that $40,000 toward a down payment on a larger house. There's also other ways that you can use your equity that I read up on, but I'm not kind of in that stage of my life as far as like if you want to borrow against it through, they do, I think it's called HELOC, H-E-L-O-C, so home equity line of credit, where you basically are using that money that you gained in equity as kind of like almost like a credit card. Whatever you borrow out of your equity, you have to repay back. Or you can take out a home equity loan where they would loan you a certain amount. So say if we had that $50,000 of equity gained and they said, okay, we'll loan you a home equity loan of $40,000 and use your house as collateral. This is why they say that this is kind of like a risky thing to do. Basically, if you don't pay back that $40,000, they could take your house. And it might be on foreclosure because you didn't pay back that home equity loan amount. So what I've read up on is that's not super smiled upon, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess, if you need the money. And it is your assets or your equity, so you can do what you want with it, but still. You can also use your equity for retirement. That's something that you guys might have to just read up more on, because I'm not like super keen on how to use it for your retirement, but I believe that there is an opportunity for you to kind of receive like installment payments of like monthly payments for how much equity you have or something like that. I don't know, like I said, I'm not in that point of my life yet, but whatever. So yeah, you guys, that's basically it. That's home equity explained and hopefully simplified. Like I said, that's how I understand it, and hopefully that helped you kind of understand what it is too. But yeah, Make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications to be updated every time I upload. Make sure to stay tuned for my mini series where I'm showing you guys how I designed all of my rooms on Photoshop first, which was a big part in bringing everything to life. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up, please, and comment down below if you have any questions, or let's just talk. Let's just have a good time. Okay? Alrighty guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.